The Dodgers are a game away from being swept by the Mets. Will it happen? We're going to talk about it. Stay tuned. It's CrustyK from the Go Boys Network coming to you with the slate preview for April 21st. Quick shout out to our sponsor Sleeper Picks, but more on that later. Let's jump right into it. Our first game on the slate is the Yankees taking on Tampa Bay Rays. This is Aaron Civale versus Lucas Gill. Right away, Gill's strikeout numbers jump off the page against this Tampa Bay team. Incredibly undisciplined. We saw it against Nestor Cortez the night before. Tons of swing and misses. I expect Gill to run it up here. On the other side, Civale. Not much of a strikeout guy. Pretty good with his command, but this Yankee team is incredibly patient and can definitely work some deep counts, probably work out a few walks, and get him out of this game early. I lean the Yankees here. I lean get his Ks, and I think they get a win at home. Our next one is Christian Javier taking on Mitchell Parker. This is the Astros versus the Nationals. In this one, I look to Javier under his Ks here. Primarily a fastball guy. We know the Nationals don't strike out a ton. Top 5 in contact percent, top 5 in chase contact percent. Just an incredibly tough team to strike out. On the flip side, Parker, he's a rookie. Didn't look terrible in his first start, but this Astros team just absolutely destroys left-handed pitching. I expect the Astros to put up some runs here. An Astros team total will probably be a great look. They're going to give this guy a little bit of a wake-up call. Our next one is the White Sox taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. This is Nick Nastrini versus Aaron Nola. Nastrini looked pretty good in his first start. Now here against the Phillies in a tough place to play at Citizens Bank. I'm not sure he's going to fare nearly as well. Walks have been an issue for him in the minors, and I just expect that to be a problem here. This Phillies team got a lot of patient guys in the lineup with Harper and Schwarber. It's going to be a tough spot for him. I think he can still get a few Ks. He does have good strikeout stuff, but I think overall walks, probably some runs. Phillies get the sweep here, in my opinion, pretty easily. Nola, I'd look to his outs. I'm not a big Nola strikeout guy. We saw in yesterday's game, Wheeler, it took him a while to get it going. Once he did, he racked him up. Nola's stuff just isn't as good in my opinion. So Nola outs, and then, like I said, like a Phillies team total, Phillies win, however you want to play it. Phillies are getting the sweep here. Our next one is the Boston Red Sox taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Josh Winkowski versus Martin Perez. Immediately for me here, I always look to Perez. I like to back him out for his outs. Works incredibly quick, fairly efficient, really good at keeping the ball on the ground. This Boston team doesn't scare me lineup-wise. They're not hitting the ball very well. So I think Perez outs right away. That's like the first thing you can go to. In terms of side, I probably would lean with the Pirates here as well. Winkowski probably going to go 3-4 innings, and they're going to turn it over into like more of a bullpen game. I don't trust the Red Sox bullpen. So for me here, I go with the Pirates. I go with Martin Perez to pitch deep into this game and get his team a win. In the next one, we have the Oakland Athletics taking on the Cleveland Guardians. Ross Stripling versus Tanner Bybee. Bybee, the strikeout numbers just haven't been there yet this season. Oakland can definitely cure that. We saw that with Tristan McKenzie earlier in the series. So right away, I think you have to look at Bybee Cage just for the matchup. This team, metric-wise, probably the worst in all of baseball. Swinging, missing, and continuing to swing and miss. There's not a lot of contact being made here by this Oakland team. On the flip side, Stripling pitching to contact against this Cleveland team that's pretty much red hot right now offensively. I think Cleveland lights them up. So Cleveland team total, Guardians money line, however you want to play it. Guardians get a win here. Oakland just continues to be Oakland. Our next one is the Angels taking on the Reds. Jose Soriano and Frankie Montas. So Soriano is a converted reliever. This will be his third start of the season. Big issues with command. He has really big strikeout stuff, but definitely struggles to hone it in. And then Montas on the other side, obviously a veteran, been in the league for a long time. Got roughed up in his last start. I kind of expect the same thing here, truthfully. Angels team, swing the bats pretty well, and I think honestly runs from both sides are likely here. So for me, give me the over. I don't want to trust either pitcher, so I think runs are the best option here. Our next one is the Baltimore Orioles taking on the Kansas City Royals. This is Cole Irvin versus Seth Lugo. This series has probably been one of my favorite series of the weekend so far. I think Cole Irvin's going to struggle against this Kansas City team. They're hitting the ball extremely well, not striking out, and just top to bottom, this lineup's really swinging it. So give me a Royals team total, and it's in terms of the side, I don't want to trust Lugo to hold down the Orioles. The Orioles kind of seem like they're finding it a little bit. The offense woke up and tagged Reagan's pretty good. So I think you lean to the full game over, but I prefer the Royals team total. Our next one is the Detroit Tigers taking on the Minnesota Twins. This is Casey Mize versus Louis Varland. Louis Varland is probably one of the only guys I've ever seen who can have a 30% K rate and still somehow, walk 6 guys, go 3 innings, give up 8 runs, and somehow miss his strikeout line. But in this one, I like him against the Tigers. High chase rate, I believe 6th highest, and one of the lowest chase contact rates in in all baseball right now. So give me Varland K's. Should probably be around 4.5, 5.5. I think he can smash that line against this team. For Mize, K line probably gonna be around 4.5, and I think he can look at it. His off-speed stuff's looked good in his last couple starts, and this Twins team is just as undisciplined as the Tigers are. So I like both guys' K's. I think they both run it up. Neither of these lineups scare me right now. Our next one is the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. This is Colin Ria versus Sonny Gray. Immediately to me, I see Sonny Gray, and he's pitched really well, and I want to back him, but I just can't trust this Cardinals offense to put up runs. Colin Ria, nothing special, throws a lot of junk, a lot of off-speed, but he's really good at keeping these lineups off balance and getting a lot of weak contact. So for me here, I actually lean to the under. I think Sonny Gray can hold down Milwaukee. They haven't looked great in this series, and Sonny Gray has looked outstanding in his 2 starts since coming back from injury. And Colin Ria on the other side, like I said, junk baller, a lot of weak contact, and this Cardinals team just not swinging the bats well. So give me the game total under, and that's probably my best look here. The next one is the Miami Marlins taking on Chicago Cubs. This is Edward Cabrera versus Kyle Hendricks. So despite the Miami Marlins not swinging the bats well, Hendricks has been absolutely awful. A ton of hard contact against, not missing any bats. And I think that's going to be a problem here too. A lot of guys in this Miami team that probably can abuse the sinker, and I think you're going to see that. Jesus Sanchez, Josh Bell, even Arise, not really swinging it up to his standards, but this could be a spot where he gets it going again. On the other side, Edward Cabrera, obviously nasty strikeout stuff. Command, always a bit of an issue. So depending on what the line is at for strikeouts, I would consider the over. This Cubs team has a few guys who are extremely K-adverse, but overall, you're probably looking at 5 to 6 guys above league average in strikeout rate. So Cabrera K's, like I said, depending on the line, I'd probably play it up to like 5.5. I'd be comfortable there. Cabrera walks against this Cub team, extremely patient. So the guys who are K-adverse, definitely big walk targets, and Cabrera almost always has 2-3 walks at a minimum. In terms of a side, I have to go with Miami. I trust Cabrera more than I trust Hendricks, but I think overall you go with like a Miami team total and look for their offense to really get going here against Hendricks, who's been struggling.
Wait, before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the Goal Boys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the Goal Boys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
Our next one is Seattle taking on the Colorado Rockies. This is George Kirby versus Cal Quantrill. Kirby has not looked good. Giving up a lot of contact. Obviously, he's one of the highest in-zone pitchers in all of baseball, which when he's on, it works really well. When he's off, he's giving up a lot of contact, and he's been off pretty much the whole season. Colorado, obviously not hitting the ball well right now, but with how often Kirby's in the zone, could this be the spot to get it going? Possibly. They're going to have the opportunities for sure. On the flip side, Cal Quantrill, especially at Coors, he's like death by 1,000 splitters because it's the only way he can keep the ball in the ballpark. The Seattle team does have a lot of guys who hit the ball really well, though, especially in the lower part of the zone. J-Rod and Mitch Haniger in particular. I think those are 2 guys you could definitely target against Cal. Overall, I'd go to like a Seattle team total. I think it's a great look. I think Seattle can get it done. I do think Kirby, has potential to bounce back a bit here, but it's a tall task, especially at Coors and especially for a guy who pretty much lives and dies by his fastball. Really quick before we get back into the games here, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Sleeper Picks. Use code GOBOYS for a first-time deposit match of up to $500. Let's jump back into it, though. Our next one is the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the San Francisco Giants. It's Merrill Kelly versus Jordan Hicks. Merrill Kelly, in his last couple starts, hasn't looked super sharp, but historically, he owns this Giants team. So I think it's a nice spot for him to bounce back, even on the road. Giants offense, they're not swinging it well, not scoring runs. They did get to Gallon a little bit in the last game, but I think overall, Merrill Kelly is just a tougher matchup for him. Hicks on the other side, a converted reliever, velo down a tick because he's trying to stretch himself out and be able to pitch deeper into games. So for me here, I think you look to his under Ks. As we all know, Diamondbacks, one of the best contact teams in all of baseball, holding opposing pitchers, starting pitchers in particular, to under 5 strikeouts per game. So I'm expecting his line to be around 4.5. I think you can comfortably take that under. Obviously, the biggest concern is the high velo, but we saw them handle Snell pretty well when they went head-to-head with him, and I think they can do the same thing to Hicks. Our next one is the Mets taking on the Dodgers. This is the Dodgers need a win, and they have the race on the mound with Tyler Glass now. Opposing him is Adrian Hauser. Hauser has not been great. He's been serviceable. this Dodgers lineup not swinging the bats well right now, despite how the names and despite how loaded they may be. They are not producing. Is Hauser the cure-all? I really don't know, because he's been getting a lot of weak contact, and against this Dodgers team, I think he can do the same thing. It's going to be all up to Glass now to shut down the Mets and to pitch deep into this game and get his team back in the win column and avoid a sweep. Crazy enough, I believe the Dodgers haven't won a series in like over a month. So I don't want to say a must-win in April, but Dodgers definitely need to right the ship here and get it going. Our next one is the Toronto Blue Jays taking on San Diego Padres. Chris Bassett versus Joe Musgrove. First thing against Toronto, you got to look at Musgrove and go to his outs. Toronto, as I've mentioned numerous times, a lot of early contact, a lot of short at bats. Musgrove's going to go deep into this one. 6+, probably relatively easy, regardless of if he gives up a few runs or not. On the flip side, Bassett, another absolute workhorse. Tough spot against this Padres lineup, but he has like 20 pitch mix at this point in his career, and I think he can keep these guys off balance and pitch deep in this one too. So give me the under. I think it's a good spot for an under, maybe the first 5 under to avoid these bullpens, and I think both pitchers can cover their outs. Our next one is the Texas Rangers taking on the Atlanta Braves. This is the Michael Lorenzen versus Darius Vines. This is an intriguing matchup on paper. Vines looked pretty good against Houston. They didn't really give him the benefit of the doubt when it came to a little bit of base traffic in the 5th inning, so he wasn't able to qualify for the win in that one. But overall, he looked pretty good. Changeup moving a ton. Obviously struggles with command. That's been the big knock on him. So I'll be curious to see what he does here against Texas. Texas is super aggressive, so he might be able to get away with some of those pitches. Flip side, Michael Lorenzen, pretty much a heavy contact guy. Going to give up a lot of balls in play. And against the Braves, this lineup is just so dangerous. We've seen it back-to-back days. Travis d'Arnaud getting hot. The whole team pretty much is scorching hot right now. Give me the Braves. I trust Vines to hold this Rangers team down at least enough to let the Braves do what they do against Lorenzen. I would look to like a Lorenzen earned runs. I think that'd be a great look, or even under his pitching outs, depending on what they are. Our next one is the Seattle Mariners taking on the Rockies. This is Emerson Hancock versus Peter Lambert. Peter Lambert is a long reliever. I'm expecting him to go probably 3-4 innings, and then it'll become more of like a bullpen game, which, I mean, honestly, for the Rockies, it really doesn't make a difference. The rotation's pretty bad, and their starters aren't much better. So, especially with Freeland being hurt now, they're probably going to try and stretch out Lambert into like a spot start kind of guy, at least for the time being. On the other side, Emerson Hancock, been pretty good. It's his first time pitching at Coors, so I am very reluctant to back him. This will be game 2 of the doubleheader too, so obviously some lineup concerns there in terms of the offense. For me here, I think game 2 doubleheader, you look to the over. I think you got a couple pitchers who just aren't very good. Hancock not going to necessarily know what to do with the effect of the ball at Coors. So I think you look at the over and you just go about your day there. I don't want to trust either pitcher in terms of a side. That does conclude our slate. If you guys could do me a favor, drop a comment. If you're enjoying what we're doing, let me know. If there's something we could do better, let me know. As always, I appreciate you guys for watching. If you have a gambling problem, dial 1-800-GAMBLER. Thanks, guys.